Thank you very much, Mr. Ankit. Sorry, giving a round of applause for that. He kept repeating that the foundation is there. It is there. I spoke to Impact Markets. They raise funding for low-income communities through easily accessible digital currency. And I asked him, what are some of the biggest roadblocks that mid-sized businesses and entrepreneurs face on their digitalization journey? Why? Because they deal with such enterprises on a day-to-day basis. And his response, which is the CEO, Marco Barbosa, is, and I quote, I think some of the biggest roadblocks entrepreneurs face include the lack of policies, thus incentivize risk-taking, openness to learn new processes and technology, and the proper infrastructure, both in finance, technology, and education. End of quote. The full quote can be found in the Business Financial Times, pages 21 and 24. In line with this, Reverend Owusu-Amoah, I would like to ask, just as Mr. Barbosa said, what are some of the processes, incentives, and policies that can help the digital journey along for MSMEs, entrepreneurs, and businesses at large?
Thank you very much. I think there are a significant number of things that are being done and that can be done to make it possible for MSMEs and individuals. And for me, I even want to add from the government angle itself, because when we talk about the digitalization, we are seeing the benefits from the government angle to the MSMEs and to the individuals, and for all of us as a nation and as an economy. The first session, we were talking about the Ghana card, the N10 initiative. And we are talking about how we can use digitalization to make sure that people are becoming more compliant. Then you also mentioned in your comments just a few minutes ago about the issue about the checks, and then combining the digitalization and the compliance in terms of enforcement, whether you can go to prison and things like that. What is happening today is that if you have 10,000 people issuing that checks, and you don't have any digitalized way of reducing that number, then it becomes very difficult for you to put the 10,000 people in prison. Right. But if you combine digitalization with the compliance, then digitalization reduces the number significantly and becomes easier for you to pull out the few that are non-compliant and put them in prison. When you come to the element that we have, for example, when we did a Ghana card, we had said that there were about 12 million people that were identified that did not have, are not compliant, but even though they've registered for the Ghana card, as far as tax is concerned. Now, through digitalization, we are able to know that out of this 12,000, there are about 9 million who are eligible for tax. In other words, about 2.7 million from the data are not eligible for tax. Out of the 9 million, you can break down knows that about 60,000 are the high net worth professionals and things like that, which we have mentioned in the public for some time, who also are not compliant. And then you have another 3 million who are low-income earners, who also, then you have another 6 million who are middle to income earners. So it is very easy to identify. Today, I can tell you, out of the middle-income earners who are not paying, I can tell you which region is leading. I can tell you which region is number 2, which region is number 3, in terms of the number of people who have Ghana cards are not compliant. I can break it down into households, and I can break it down into areas of residence. I can tell you how many people are living in Trasacco and they don't have, they have Ghana card, but they are not compliant. I can tell their telephone numbers, and I can tell their house using their, what do you call it, GPS, because it's all in the data. And I can drive straight to the house. We have done analysis. We know that there's a potential of 8 billion that we can get from these people. And this is what we have broken down into the various offices, and we have assigned them across all the country. So I'm looking at it from the government first, because the SME, MSMEs, and the individuals has an obligation. And therefore, I want to start with their obligation before I come to their rights and what you want to do for them. And so there are a lot of opportunities, and I'm sure that we are on the right path, and very soon, sooner than we expected, we will get there. Now, when it comes to some of the convenience for the, let me start from very small. If you look at our self-employed, those who pay the taxes in terms of personal income tax from the employed, a greater percentage of what we have in Ghana today in our database, surprisingly, comes from people within the transport sector. And for them paying taxes in the previous times, in terms of their vehicle income tax, meant that they have to go to our offices and queue. Today, when we do the star 222 hash, they can sit in their vehicles and do star 222 hash and pay. And therefore, they don't need to show up in the offices again. And we are moving on to the step where we don't even require, will not even require you to put the sticker there, because currently you finish paying and you still have to go to a bank or somewhere to go and collect the sticker. So there's an opportunity there for them. Now we have also introduced the online filing. And currently, though not many as we expect, but before the beginning of the year, it will be compulsory for every large taxpayer to file online. And then we'll move on to the medium taxpayers, because we know that the challenges are there for the other ones who are far away and small. Again, we are making it across. So if you are able to do the online filing and you are able to pay online, then automatically we remove the opportunity for you even to go to the tax office and then to enter into a situation where these issues about people trying to take advantage of taxpayers in terms of staff and things like that will also be eliminated. So there's a huge opportunity for that to also be controlled. Now, these things that are happening will ensure that as many as possible will have the convenience of paying the taxes. Now, through digitalization, we are also being able to use the data warehouse to be able to match data. So that, for example, today we have a situation where somebody can be registered with a Mercedes-Benz, and that is registered in his name in DVLA, but at the same time he pays the tax of, let's say, 2,000 or something like that. Then when you compare, and the same person, if you are able to digitalize and have the system talk to each other. There's a data warehouse that has your tax database, you have your SNE database, you have your DVLA database, and therefore you are able to identify. Today, there are companies, in fact, and that data also we have, that you see they do send their PAYE to GRA. But if you look at the same company, they have more employees sent to SNET than they have employees sent to GRA. So how come that the person has employees who pay tax and they have who enjoys social security, but they don't pay tax? And so this is also the data matching that we're also doing. So it's very easy, and therefore very soon what will be coming up is that, in fact, it's becoming compulsory that you don't submit data to GRA for PAYE with that. Anyway, if I want to go on, I'm sure there's a lot of things I can talk. There are a lot of things I can talk about as far as the opportunities for, but we are bent on ensuring that through digitalization, we'll make it easier for SMEs to be able to, in fact, we are also coming out with an app, and I'm sure it's almost about 60% complete, where now filing can be done on your mobile phone by just selecting an options there and filing on the app. And it has gone far as far as this app is concerned. And so very soon you don't need to actually even walk to the office. You don't need to actually go and look for a computer. With your phone, you can file. So these are some initiatives. And once you file, you can pay. And once you pay, you can get your tax clearance certificate, which recently we heard what is happening, on your phone. So you don't need to actually also walk there for somebody to dupe you. You'll be able to get your tax clearance on your phone. So there are a lot of convenience that is coming as far as the individuals, SMEs, MSMEs are concerned, as well as the nation as a whole, to be able to make sure that we increase our tax to GDP ratio, as we were talking in the morning, from where we are. We have moved from 12 to 13. And even in the midst of the COVID era, there's opportunity for us to move further and aim at where our other colleagues in other countries are. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Reverend has exposed so many cracks, or let me call the loopholes, as you call them, in the system, which I believe that with innovation will be fixed, which is what leads to my next question to the distinguished gentleman from Bank of Ghana. This will be my last question. After that, we take a comment from a World Economic Forum speaker, and then questions from the audience. Mr. Ampong, I am 100% for regulation. In fact, 1,000% for regulation. My fear with overregulation is that it would create black market economies that would allow people to circumvent the protocols and the systems that Bank of Ghana rightly have put in place to protect the stakeholders of Ghana. With all the digitization going on now, at least we are well aware that the US, the West, the UK, Europe is ready and willing to invest in Africa, especially when it's technology-based. I mean, we've heard of Flutterware, Paystack. So boys are wild. Guys are trying to innovate, are trying to do stuff. I would like to ask how the Bank of Ghana is preparing the road to certification for these individuals, and how, not necessarily easy, because of course due diligence, of course you have to look at the innovation that's coming up and how it affects what is currently there, but how is Bank of Ghana preparing for these new innovations that are going to come up, especially when we launch the ECD, because then everything goes digital. So everybody's mind leaves the physical and goes to the digital space.